HADES, nominee to the Game of the Year 2020 and the winner of the Best Indie and Action Game of that year. I haven't played HADES in 4 years, so I don't remember most of it, and today we are going to figure out if it is possible to beat HADES on the first try after 4 years of not even touching this game. I have selected my old save and started by relearning all my controls, which was really fast and easy because there's not too many of them. Then I checked out all the keepsakes and kept the one I was already using. For every encounter you clear hitless, you gain 2% increase to your damage. After choosing my keepsake, I went through all the weapons and chose the base sword because it has no difficult mechanics. And I went with the aspect of Poseidon, which means after I hit enemies with my special, it dislodges all my cats out of them. I did not check how upgraded I am on the save file, but just to make it a little bit more interesting, I have decided to up the heat a little bit, just to make it more challenging, you know. Extreme Measures adds new moves and attacks to the bosses of this game, and Middle Management adds another strong enemy to many boss encounters. And with everything out of the way, we can start the run. After escaping our home, I instantly got my first upgrade of this run. The first god offering us a boon is Poseidon. The main feature of his boons is pushing enemies away, and because I want to be near enemies so I can dislodge my casts, I chose the cast upgrade, and now it also has area damage. I encountered my first enemy right after, but he was really easy to take down, which we won't be so lucky later. In the first arena, I encountered these crystal enemies, but they weren't even able to attack once, because all the early enemies are just so weak. The next room was more interesting. It had more enemies, even some traps, and once I cleared it up, I picked up this item that allows us to upgrade one of our boons. And because I only have one, it wasn't a hard choice at all. Right after, I encountered these guys that can spawn other enemies, but still, it wasn't too hard to take care of them. And as a reward, I increased my maximum HP by 25. This is the first time I got hit in this run, and it definitely isn't the last time. I was finally offered another boon, and this time it was Athena who showed up. Athena is all about deflecting, and I remembered that her dash is extremely good, so I rerolled for it. After a few rooms, I got into a fight with my first mini-boss. It was this spawner enemy with some armor, and at this goes for the first location, it was pretty easy to defeat. And I received a boon from the goddess Aphrodite, where I chose an epic upgrade to my special, so it deals 146% more damage and inflicts weak, which makes enemies deal 30% less damage. My first hammer upgrade came right after that mini-boss. It's a fundamental upgrade or modifier to some aspects of your weapon. What I got wasn't useful for my playstyle, but now I can just hold down my left click to attack rapidly. Another interesting encounter was next. And in this one, you are offered 2 boons from different gods. I chose Aphrodite, and from now on, all my max health increases are 30% stronger. The one you don't choose makes the god offering it really mad, and he starts attacking you. I got hit many times in this room, but after clearing it, I was able to get the second boon I declined originally. There, I chose a 50% increase to our resource gain. Here I obtained another boon upgrade, and I again upgraded my cast, because I heavily rely on it with this build. I was able to really easily clear the next room because of my area damage. I made great use of that Aphrodite boon I just got, and increased my max HP by 33 instead of 25. This is the first time I have entered a shop where Karen offers you stuff for your coins. I bought Athena's boon, and I was really lucky to get a duo boon, because they are really rare to show up. Then I just healed all my HP back up, and we are already at the first major boss. We have to fight the Furies, and not only one, but 2 at the same time. I did not remember any of their attacks and how to dodge them, so I just went full out, and with some losses to my HP, I was able to beat them without any major problems. After beating a major boss, you end up in this room between locations, where you can replenish all your health and change your keepsake, which I did not, because I have plus 18% to my damage from the current one. You can also sell any of your boons or get minor blessings from Karen. And without any major difficulties, I have escaped Tartarus, and we are onto Asphodel next. At this point, you might be thinking that I can easily beat this challenge, but just wait a little bit, it will get much harder the further we go. There are no traps in Asphodel, but every arena is surrounded by lava, so it will be more difficult to collect my casts if I miss. When I entered the first arena, I met some of the new harder enemies, which were still rather easy to defeat. I had to enjoy that, because once I reach the next location, it will get exponentially harder. As my next path, I chose Hermes over the boon upgrade. It's not hard to guess what the main feature of Hermes is. He's focused on speed, and I did not like what I was offered, so I spent my last reroll and picked an upgrade that doubles my movement speed for half a second after dashing. I was offered 3 paths to choose from, and I went with increasing my max HP even more, which will be really handy later in the run. And I was really lucky, because I got that for free, without needing to fight anybody. Also, I could heal, but I was still at full HP. Finally, a new boon came next, but with increased enemy difficulty. I entered the arena that was actually a ship, and instantly got locked in it, until I defeated all the enemies. It took me some efforts to take them down, and I got hit few times. For my struggle, I was rewarded extremely well and got another of those rare duo boons, which makes it so that from now on, once we upgrade one of our boons, it gets 2 levels instead of 1. After surviving and continuing for a little bit, I got lucky again and got Hermes for the second time. I just had to play whack-a-mole with these skeletons. It was kinda annoying, but at least not too hard. I could choose an extra dash, so I would be able to dash 3 times in a row. Got that almost instantly, and now I am able to play even more aggressively, which is really nice for my playstyle. I also bought a really great item from the Well of Karen, which is actually really rare for me to do. I will explain the Chaos Gate later, but for now just focus on the text at the end saying, where possible. The next room only contained another increase to my max HP, and because it is the room exactly before the boss of this location, it wasn't possible to get the Chaos Gate here. As I have said, the boss of this location awaits us next, and we have to fight the Bone Hydra. I was hit almost instantly because I don't remember all the attacks and moves again. Most of this fight is pretty straightforward though. You just have to hit the Hydra and try not to get hit yourself. Once you get it down to 2/3 of its HP, it spawns these small Hydras which you must defeat before you can continue with the big one. This also happens when you get the Hydra to its last third of HP, but this time it spawns even more of them, and I got hit many times during this phase because I wasn't keeping track of my casts and lost most of them in the lava. With almost 100 HP lost during this boss, I was finally able to defeat the Hydra. 2 bosses down, more remaining. In the post-boss room, I healed all my lost HP back and bought another guaranteed Chaos Gate, so now we have 2 of those. And just like that, we continue onto the next location, Elysium. This is actually where the fun and real struggles begin. The first thing that finally awaits us in Elysium is the Chaos Gate. This can also spawn naturally, and you must sacrifice some of your health to enter. Once there, you are offered a boon from Chaos. These boons work differently than others. To actually get the upgrade, you must first survive few rooms with a debuff. In my case, I must survive 56% more enemies, and then I will deal 160% more damage to enemies from behind. All the enemies we encounter in this location are really strong. These blue soldiers can respawn after you kill them if you don't manage to kill their spirit fast enough. There are also really annoying traps, which will hit me many times. Another enemy type are these cards. They rush at you, and if you don't run away or kill them from a distance, they will explode in your face. For this thing, I would totally understand if you go nuts in the comments, but I forgot about my second Chaos Gate, and I noticed it too late when I was already going to the shop. I almost wanted to cry, but what can I do? In the shop, I bought a boon from Dionysus and finally got a call. Call is a special ability you can activate by filling up the yellow bar on the bottom left by damaging enemies. Also, I got more max HP. Then, I saw this pouch of coins which said borrow 300 coins, and because I was exactly at 0 and I don't remember this being a thing, I picked it up. Well, picking it up was a mistake because it really angered Karen, so now, because I only borrowed that money, I have to fight him. Karen's boss fight was completely new for me and it was really difficult. I was locked in this small arena and his attacks covered a lot of it. Because of that, I found it really hard to dodge Karen's attacks and got hit many times. Also, I have used my call for the first time, but for some reason every hit missed. After defeating Karen and getting down to 78 of my valuable HP, I was rewarded with a 20% discount to his shop. At least I got something from the mistake of borrowing those 300 coins. The next fight welcomed us with this really strong butterfly spawning enemy. At first I thought that this is a mini-boss, but no, I had to fight a lot other enemies at the same time. During the ass whooping I was receiving from this arena, I really noticed that increase in enemies from chaos, which I thought I would honestly not. I reached the end with only 28 HP and Athena showed up, so from now on, even my attacks can deflect projectiles. My next reward was a second hammer upgrade, but I needed to clear this overwhelming arena with a lot of difficult enemies and traps. Then came a point I was really scared of, and I died. I thought it is over, which means I'm not able to beat Hades on the first try, but fortunately, I had a revive, so my journey can still continue. From the hammer, I got a strong upgrade that makes my special hit 2 times, but it won't knock away enemies anymore. Actually, that is also a benefit for me, because I want to be near enemies to retrieve all my casts. Clearing the room after this one finally lifted the curse from chaos, and now our backstabs deal 160% more damage. I want you to also enjoy the satisfaction from killing this huge amount of exploding cards. Thanks to my area damage, it was just so nice to get rid of them. I increased my HP even more, and our maximum is at whopping 307 HP already. Because I had a crazy amount of 611 coins, I went to the shop next. There, I bought another Poseidon boon, which makes it so our boons with knockback rupture enemies. It makes them take some damage for simply moving. I also healed and gave 2 levels to the boon I just obtained. And just like that, I have reached the boss of Elysium. Or may I say 2 bosses? Yeah, it's just another 2v1. We are fighting Theseus and the Minotaur at the same time. For this boss, I actually remembered something. It's better to focus Minotaur first, because he is the really aggressive one out of these 2. I defeated him rather quickly, and then it was just Theseus. He has both ranged and melee attacks, so you need to hit him from the back, because otherwise he will block all your damage most of the time. So our Chaos boon comes here really handy. After getting him to half HP, he calls a random god for help, and in my case it was Zeus. This was really unfair. I am the main character of this, and I should be the one receiving help from the gods. On the other hand, it was pretty easy. I only had to dash constantly and dodge everything. Then it was just a matter of dealing enough damage, and enough damage I dealt. And after less struggles than with Karen, the boss of this location is defeated. In the post-boss room, I only healed, and then continue onto the 4th and final location, the Temple of Styx. This location is different from others. You have immediate access to the shop, which offers double the items to purchase. There's also Cerberus blocking you from progressing further and trying to escape. To get him out of the way, you must find him a treat. You can choose from 5 different paths here, and there is a chance to find it at the end of any of them. Because I had enough money to spend, I purchased this item that removes one of your hammer upgrades and gives you 2 in return. I lost my double special, but now I deal 300% more damage to armor and my attacks shoot a piercing wave. I also increased my max HP and upgraded my attack. The first path I chose had Athena's boon as a reward. All the paths have the same structure, so you must first clear a few small rooms and then, at the end, there's a bigger one. Enemies in this location are really annoying because most of them can poison you, and the poison won't end on its own. To cure it, you must find this fountain in the room and drink from it. In the final room, I got poisoned for the first time. It took me a few seconds to find the fountain, but I quickly cured it. I was offered another rare duo boon, but since I can easily deflect, I went with a boon which allows your deflects to expose enemies and makes them take more backstab damage. For my next path, I chose the one with even more max HP and increased enemy difficulty. I did not notice the difficulty increased that much, and at the end, I already found the trait for Cerberus, with the last healing fountain we'll ever get. Then I made a decision that could potentially cost me this run, but I was really believing in myself, and I decided to clear all the other rooms as well, starting with the Aphrodite one. In one of the small rooms, I bought a random item from the Well of Charon. For the next 3 encounters I enter, I will heal 10% of my max HP. Without any major difficulties, I got the Aphrodite's boon and picked up an upgrade so once an enemy dies, he explodes and damages everyone around him. The only thing that happened in the second to last path was that I just got poisoned again and was rewarded 150 coins after clearing it. The last remaining path was with Dionysus, and again it had increased enemy difficulty. It surprised me with a mini boss fight at the end, and I was hit few times during it. They had a lot more HP and their attacks covered most of the arena, but I did pretty well and they were taken care of in just a couple of seconds. I was hoping for something good, but the boon I got after this just made my hangover slow enemies. With all the paths cleared, I visited the shop for one last time and bought Athena's boon, which increases the damage of my deflected projectiles. And I upgraded my rapture damage from Poseidon. All that remains to do is to feed Cerberus, so he will finally let us past him. I wasn't expecting to get all the way here, but here comes Hades, the final boss of this game. With everything on the line here, I must give it my all, but everything I remembered about this boss is that all the other bosses are pretty much nothing compared to him. So that's really nice. He started by shooting out this skull at me, which you must destroy or it will explode, and then he just went invisible. You can actually see his footsteps during it, but I remember that only at the end of this fight. Hades hits like a truck, and most of its attacks cover a lot of area. As if fighting him wasn't enough, he can also spawn more enemies to help him. Once he spawns them, I focus them instantly. After that, I go back to fighting him. Of course, he does this more times during the fight, so it's the same strategy all over again. Now you might be thinking, hey, this is defeated. Well, I wish it was this easy, but he has a second phase, and it's much harder than the first. Immediately, he sends out this wave across the whole arena and continues with this laser attack. To dodge it, you must hide behind these pillars, and there's no other way. Another new thing were these pots, which you must destroy. To do that, you must get really close to them, but if their death explosion catches you, you get stunned, and Hades can hit you really easily. With half of his health bar remaining, I got down to only 25 HP, exactly at the time my call got fully charged, so I used it to help me with dealing much more damage to him. I got hit once more from these annoying pots, and don't ask me how this laser did not hit me. I don't know either. And with only 4 HP remaining, Hades is defeated.
You'll never truly win.
So to answer the question, it is possible to defeat Hades on the first try after 4 years of not touching this game even a little bit. And at last, I just want to thank everybody who made it this far. You are really the best, and I hope that you enjoyed this journey. This was my first time attempting this type of a video, and I plan on doing much more similar challenge videos in the future if this one performs kinda well. I have a lot of ideas, but I'm open to any suggestions down in the comments. I would also be really grateful if you could like this video or subscribe to my channel so you don't miss more challenge videos in the future. With everything said, once again, thank you guys, and I will see you in another interesting journey. See ya!